Intuition exists for one reason: to keep you from harming yourself. Not physically, but through the small decisions that slowly cost your peace. You don't have to go looking for it. It's already part of you. But you do have to practice listening to it, because self-trust isn't automatic. It's built. And when you finally feel what self-trust actually feels like, you realize how different your life can be. Because when intuition is acted on over and over, it creates self-respect. There comes a moment, usually right after you become aware of your intuition, when you realize something both exhilarating and uncomfortable. You can't go back to abandoning yourself the way you once did. You could, technically, but something inside you will no longer sit quietly the way it used to. Ignoring your own truth no longer feels neutral. It feels costly. Honoring yourself begins with this awareness. Every time you turn away from your intuition, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you're trading away a part of yourself. Something real, something essential. For most of your life, breaking your own truth became normal. You didn't call it self-betrayal. You reframed it as being reasonable, keeping the peace, not wanting to make things awkward, or not worth the argument. But here's the reality your growing awareness will not let you avoid anymore. Every time you ignore your intuition, you abandon yourself. And the longer you do that, the harder it becomes to trust yourself. Self-trust doesn't come from confidence. It doesn't come from motivational speeches in the mirror or pages of affirmations. Self-trust is built through honoring what you become aware of. When your intuition says no and you listen, you build trust. When your intuition says this isn't right and you act on it, you build trust. When your intuition says leave and you step away, even if your mind panics, you build trust. When your intuition says this isn't who you are and you shift course, you build trust. Self-trust forms through small choices and private moments where you choose your future self over immediate comfort. Honoring yourself isn't grand. It isn't dramatic. It isn't Instagram-worthy. It's steady, quiet, unseen by others. Because the change isn't for the world to see. It's for you to know. Honoring yourself doesn't feel heroic in the beginning. It feels inconvenient. It feels like disappointing people. It feels like disrupting old patterns. It feels like making choices that your nervous system, trained for survival and belonging, isn't comfortable with. It feels like saying no when everything in you wants to avoid conflict. It feels like telling the truth when you were raised to swallow it. At first, honoring yourself feels awkward because you are choosing peace over belonging, choosing intuition over fear, choosing new patterns over old conditioning. It feels backwards because you've spent years living in the wrong direction. But after a while, something shifts. Maybe it's the first time you say no and your stomach doesn't drop, or the first time you walk away from a situation that used to keep you tethered, or the first time you feel the quiet relief of not betraying yourself. That relief, that soft, unmistakable exhale, is the first sign of your self-respect returning. Because self-respect isn't a tone of voice. It isn't a list of boundaries. It isn't an attitude or an aesthetic. Self-respect is the accumulation of choices where you honor yourself again and again until it becomes natural, automatic, and effortless. And here's the truth that changes everything. Self-betrayal is exhausting, but self-honoring is sustainable. Hurting yourself for the comfort of your others drains you. Supporting yourself strengthens you. Your energy shifts, your clarity sharpens, your decisions become cleaner. You're not becoming selfish, you're becoming aligned. And beneath that alignment is a deeper truth. You are not here to live a life where other people's comforts matter more than your own clarity. The world taught you self-abandonment. Intuition teaches you oneness. Honoring yourself is the bridge between who you were conditioned to be and who you actually are. And once this truth lands, you don't feel guilty for taking care of yourself. You feel responsible for it. Choosing peace instead of patterns. This is where repetition starts to lose its grip. At some point in your becoming, you face a truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You cannot build a peaceful life while choosing from the patterns that once kept you alive. Patterns are comfortable, familiar, and predictable. Patterns give you the illusion of safety, even when they harm you. Peace is none of those things, and the difference is simple. Patterns are shaped by conditioning. Peace is shaped by truth. And until now, your conditioning has been making most of your decisions because you were taught to choose belonging and approval over authenticity, to avoid loss at any cost, to prevent conflict, to stay in the familiar even when the familiar was hurting you. Those choices kept you afloat emotionally, socially, psychologically. But survival choices do not create peaceful lives. They keep the patterns active that hurt you. Peace creates new patterns that protect you. Once you begin honoring yourself, there are times your old patterns will try to reclaim command. They slip in quietly, confident in their authority, because for a very long time, they had it. The pattern says, apologize so that they don't get upset. Peace says, you didn't do anything wrong. The pattern says, stay, leaving will hurt them. Peace says, staying is hurting you. The pattern says, prove your worth. Peace says, you already have. Patterns don't dissolve easily. They feel ancient because some of them are. They were built to protect you when you had no other tools. Patterns are the scar tissue of your emotional life, thick, reactive, and convinced that they're keeping you safe. Peace is the truth underneath the scar. And the moment you choose peace, even once, something inside you shifts in a way that you cannot unfeel. Choosing peace doesn't feel triumphant or dramatic. It feels settling. It feels clean. It feels like setting something heavy down after carrying it for too long. That feeling, the quiet, steady exhale, becomes something you want more of. The hardest part of choosing peace is the first time you do it. Not because it's difficult, but because it's unfamiliar. Your nervous system was trained to equate familiar discomfort with safety. Peace has no data history yet. It feels suspicious simply because it's new. But then you choose again, and again, and again. What begins as discomfort becomes neutrality. Neutrality becomes calm. Calm becomes clarity. And clarity becomes confidence. This is how peace replaces patterns, slowly, steadily, through hundreds of small internal recalibrations that no one else sees, but you feel instantly. Choosing peace doesn't mean withdrawing from responsibility or drifting through life like a spiritually enlightened tumbleweed. Choosing peace means your choices are no longer made by your conditioning. Conditioning says, they'll be upset. Peace says, you'll be aligned. Conditioning says, if you say no, they'll leave. Peace says, if you say yes, you'll leave yourself. Conditioning says, fix this. Peace says, not your mess. And here's the part that no one tells you. When you begin choosing yourself, your life stops fitting the version of you shaped by the need for belonging and approval. Some relationships won't make the transition. Some habits will fall away. Some environments will feel too small. This isn't loss, it's progress. This is your life rearranging itself around the truth you're finally choosing. You'll know the shift is becoming permanent when choosing peace stops feeling like a rebellion and starts feeling like oxygen. Your mind quiets. Your decisions become simpler. Your boundaries become cleaner. You stop choosing from panic, obligation, or habit. You choose from alignment. And when peace becomes your new pattern, your choices shift and your life follows. This is the beginning of real stability, not the external kind, but the internal foundation no one can take from you. And this changes everything.